Facebook family, social media family, 7.5 billion people on the planet. I hope that your day is well. I hope that you're getting out, exercising, and just trying to enjoy the process of living. I'm here today to talk about a book I've been reading called Brain Surgeon. It's about a doctor named Keith Black, MD. And this is the last part of it. And I must say it's a real interesting read. So if you ever feel like there's something you want to read about the world of neuroscience or the journey that he's taken, I highly recommend the book. It's called Brain Surgeon. And the part that I'm reading now is like the conclusion of it. And looking at this particular part of it, he was talking about the morality of the job that he does and the people that he has seen over the years up to that point, and the things that we constantly take for granted. And he had this one patient to come in, and she had sickle cells, and she had a tumor that was like, I don't know the name of it exactly, but it was something that had to do with her balance and the nerves on her face. And she had gone to see a lot of doctors, and every time they went there, they wanted to cut her. Of course, she had to be cut, but the end result is that she could lose her hearing, and she could lose her facial motions, or the nerves in her face, and she just really wasn't having that. And she had to look until she could find someone that would be able to accommodate the specific need that she had. And not that she didn't want to have the surgery, she just didn't want the consequences that came after it. Like she couldn't hear, or her face would become numb on one side. And Dr. Black is he listened, and in the book you can tell that he's listening, he's very observant. And in his mind, when he's recounting the story, he knew that she had to have the surgery, but he had to give her some assurances about certain things that would go on or that would happen. And as he was listening to her, he began to say to her that it's no doubt that we could do the surgery, but you're going to have the knife in order to do it. But I assure you that we could go in and not damage any of the nerves in your ear or on your face. And when she got that answer from him, she said that just think about it for a minute. And she had no other thought. She said, if that's what you can do, then that's what I want, because I really want to go back home to my daughter so that I can live a normal life. I don't want to go back being disfigured or disformed. And I just want you guys to think about when you're dealing with people and how you go about trying to heal someone. And I remember a lot of times when you know how they say when you talk to someone, you want to try to give a response to it. You want to try to respond rather than just trying to listen to people. Well, when you're a doctor or you're a surgeon, you really have to listen to people. And I'm just using his example as a metaphor for just general human beings, and that you have to listen to people. And you have to be able to help them solve their problem. And if you're able to do that, then you both can walk away making a contribution to their lives as well as to your own life in terms of what value has been added. And I think Dr. Black was doing it with all of his patients. He listened to every concern that they had. He answered every question that they might have before he put them under the knife. And he always tried to reassure them that he can give them the results that they wanted. And the reason he could give so much assurances, ladies and gentlemen, was the fact that he's done over like 5,000 surgeries. So that would make him, beyond 10,000 hours, that would make him a master at what he's doing. And he's seen every kind of brain surgery that there is. And once he listened to her and he had to calm her nerves, and she became relaxed with that, then she was able to say, okay, I'm ready to do it. You're the guy for me. So let's go into tiger country and see what we could do. And that's what he always called it when he was dealing with the brainstem. And the brainstem is the most sensitive part of your brain because it controls everything according to what he was saying. And he said that the surgery was very delicate, but when you're going into tiger country, and he always gave this metaphor because if he were to hit the brainstem in any way, the brain will wake up and say this thing like, what are you doing here? And instantly start attacking whatever's going on. I mean, it's a brilliant analogy when you think about how you're dealing with people and you're dealing with the mind, but particularly when you're physically dealing with the brain. So the next day or a couple days later, after they went through all the MRIs, he had a decision to make. And normally when you do the surgery, and he kind of alluded to us as we read in the book, he said that he had to put her in the right position so that the surgery would proceed well. So they had to lay her body on her right side so that the left side could be exposed, so that when they go in, they could go in the right way and she wouldn't be laying flat. And I thought that was pretty enlightening for me, because when we deal with people, we have to always deal with them in the right way. I can't have a solution for my brother and then try to have the same solution for my sister. Because if you're listening, you realize that the answer may not be the same. Even though you might try to deliver the same information, you got to understand that you got to always have people in the right position. And when he brought that up, I was like, wow, I'm not a surgeon, but that's how you listen to people, or that's what all your experience teaches you about what you need to do. Before he could go in, there was another doctor who had to go in and, open some things up for him, because he was an expert in his field and the other guy was an expert in his field. They had to clear a passageway for him to go in, and that's teamwork. And he said that if the team is not on the same page, then it's not going to give the same results. So everybody has to be on that same level. And he proceeded in, and as he was going in, he had to make, and in the book, if you read the book, I really encourage it, he was talking about certain moves that he had to make in order to get to the brainstem and in order to remove the tumor. And as he's going in, he's giving you the example of, like, I just can't wake this tiger up, and I just got to try to make sure that I can go in and not touch any of the vessels that is related to her nerves in her ear and the nerves on her face. And they had machine with this technology. They could go in and they could tell, like, if you touch something, it gives like clicks and let you know that it's normal or abnormal. And I'm reading this book and I'm like, wow, man, technology is amazing. That it's so sensitive that it's about to tell you if you're making a mistake with a person's brain. I was just blown away by that. But nonetheless, he was still going on. And as he's going on, for some reason, something got tapped and the sound wasn't the same. And the person that was listening to it said, that's irregular. And he caused him to pause for a minute. And he had to enlarge the vision, I think, and he saw that the tumor was close to this nerve, and he had to kind of get this nerve, or get the tumor away from this nerve without disturbing anything. I mean, it's very meticulous, ladies and gentlemen. And when you're dealing with that type of energy and you're dealing with that type of sensitivity, you got to make sure that everything is correct. He proceeded on, and he was able to remove the tumor. Once he removed the tumor, the doctor went back in and they stitched the patient back up, and he was relieved that he had performed this duty. And when he came out, nothing had been touched. Her facial muscles were still the same, and her hearing, they wouldn't be able to tell that right now, but according to what he had done, nothing had been damaged. So he exited. They stitched her up, and a few hours later, he went back to check on her. She said, how you doing? She said, I'm doing great. My hearing is okay right now. My face still to be the same. He said, okay, well, we'll come back in the morning and we'll talk to you, and then we'll let you walk the halls if everything is okay. He walked away, and he was thinking that, this is where he gets deep. He was thinking about all the people that he had the privilege to serve, and what it meant to have them to be healthy when they left the operating room. And I think life itself is an operation in and of itself. And I think that he keep alluding to the fact that there are always standards that you got to have. And I think as human beings, we have to have a standard of excellence. Tony Robbins talks about this all the time. You ask a quality question, you get a quality answer. And you can never be average and think that average is good. You have to be excellent. You have to be outstanding each and every time. And when people got on the internet to find him or see the Sinai Hospital, they look for people of excellence. And he alluded to that because he told her prior to going in, I got to sit down with the team so we can discuss the best process for you. It wasn't an individual effort, ladies and gentlemen. When you're in that operating room and you're dealing with someone's lives, everybody has to be important. And he was alluding to the fact that when he was in the operating room, there are certain things that he has to have. He said that when the team is in sync, now check this out, when the team is in sync, he doesn't have to ask for a specific gadget. He doesn't have to ask for a specific knife. He knows. They say that when you're in harmony, you know when it needs to be done. And just so happened that he was moving to the next step, and when he got ready to say it, the person had already had it in their hand for him. Now, isn't that harmony? Isn't that synchronization when someone is on the same level as you, when you're dealing with a patient that at that moment everybody is in harmony and everything seems to be working out fine for you? And those are things that we can always use in life. We may have differences, like even in the boardroom when they're talking, they may have differences, but the end result has to be the same. What's the best care for the patient? And when you're having discussions with your family or your friends or other people, you're going to always have disagreements. But the disagreement should never break up the harmony that we have to have as human beings. It has to always have a resolution at the end that's what's going to be best for the people that we're dealing with. And I think that is such a revealing thing for a neurosurgeon to be able to do that. And I'm pretty sure that most neurosurgeon or people who do surgery has to be on that level. And it has to be exposed to the public that way so you can understand what it actually means if you're going to go under the knife, who you should look for, and how is this person gauging you and how you're gauging them. And the person that he was working on, she said she had went to several other neurosurgeons in the country or talked to several different people, and she said that all they wanted to do was cut on her. They said that they never saw her as a person, as a living human being. They just wanted to cut on her for the sake of putting her under the knife, and she just couldn't feel that. And she had been going to doctors all her life. And she said she can get a vibe from people instantly as to whether or not they have her best interest at heart or whether or not they just want to perform the surgery. So when she got to Dr. Black, she said that she felt like he had her best interest in heart because he listened to her. He showed her the MRIs and he talked her mother and her through the operation as exactly what was going on. And I think in life that's the key. If you're going to do something to somebody, you got to be honest. If you're going to help them, you got to be honest, and you got to be able to let them feel you and you feel them when it comes to trying to heal, because you can't heal someone if you're not feeling them. Have you ever been in a conversation and you talk to someone and they're ranting on, they're really feeling good, and they'll pause for a moment and say, "Do you feel me?" If you say no, then that means they got to restructure their conversation because you're not feeling what they're dropping, right? So the surgery is over, and he goes back to see her, and then she asked him when can she leave. He said, "Well, we'll just monitor you for a couple of hours. We think that once everything is good, you're walking around and you got your sense of balance and your nerves are right, then you can go on and proceed on with your life." And she said, "Thank you," and he went on about his business. And then he started talking about the people that he had did the surgeries on. And one of the guys passed away. But he made him a promise. He said, if we do the surgery, you could get 6 more months. You can get 6 months to live or more. And the guy said, 6 months, that'll be great. I could get time to be with my nieces and nephews, talk to my family, and do those things that you really don't get a chance to do. And the only reason is that at the end of the surgery, there was a part of the tumor that he could not get to without damaging him severely. And that part of the tumor, it grew again, and it put pressure on his brain, and then he passed away. But he said that he gave him 6 months, and his brother was telling me that he had the best 6 months ever. He got a chance to spend time with his family. He got a chance to look at everybody. And the person that was dying asked his brother and his family, he said, "Are you guys going to be okay with this?" Even the guy that was passing away was checking on his family to make sure that they were going to be all right. And he spoke to everybody, and his brother said in the book that he passed away after he checked with everybody. And Dr. Black just reflected on that, and he said something that's profound, and you hear it from ministers all the time. You hear it from the books of wisdom, and you hear from people that are very high level, vibrating on high level. He said that we don't do this as people, and these are the things that we should do. We take it for granted that when we're healthy, we're happy, and we're sane, that we don't take the time to look at other people and value them for what they truly are, a living, breathing human being with the desire to want to be happy and healthy. and a desire to want to try to do the best that we can in life. And I think these are lessons that we have to take from any material that we read. You want to take away a lesson of, did I really help this person? Did I really look this person in the eyes and say, no, I really and truly care for you. I wish you the best. Even though we may have disagreements about things, at the end of the day, your life is just as valuable as mine. And then he recalled another young man that he was working on. He made the trip to Hong Kong like he was supposed to, but he fell into a coma as well. And he had lived longer than had been expected as well. But that divorce and all those things that in personal life, that impacted his life as well. But he got the time that he needed. He got the thing that he really needed in life. And that was the love of his family, and he got to live and see a little bit of the things that he wanted, and got to do the things that he needed to do. And I just think that those things are valuable. Especially when you're happy, ladies and gentlemen. Especially when you have the sense of awareness to realize that on the planet that we live on, man, it's good to look somebody in the eye, especially like if you're a family member, you want to start with that and say, I know we disagree on a lot of things, but I really appreciate you. I'm glad that you're my brother. I'm glad that you're my sister, because without you, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I'm glad that you're my mother. I'm glad that you're my father. If you two didn't get together, I wouldn't be here. And we always, and this is just me just trying to interpret at the end, the things that he was telling me and the way I look at life, is that people always reflect upon the good times or see their life in a flash when the time is ending. We never realize that when you get up every morning, that time of yesterday has ended and this is a new day, and you got to get out and appreciate these things that you have. Even though you know the difficulty that comes with it, you still got to be able to say, yo, man, I'm up. I'm healthy. I don't have to go to the doctors. I try to eat the best way I could. I try to think the best way I could. I try to have my quiet time. I try to read as much as I can. I try to exercise as much as I can. I try to call my family as often as I can. It may not be as much, but I try to call them as often as I can. If not, I try to text them, because you just never really know. And the guy that passed away, his brother was there with him from the beginning, and his brother was with him at the end. So we just got to try to be there for each other. We just got to try to understand that the life that's in front of me want to live to a good old age as well. The lives that I don't know about want to live to a good old age as well. And this is what Dr. Black was talking about. Whenever he do a surgery, he want to guarantee people an extended period to deal with the things they need to deal with in life. And if you're fortunate to live 20 years after a surgery with him, he's even more grateful. But whatever time you have on life, you got to take advantage of that. And he said that every time he did a surgery with someone, he said he felt that way when he left, and it made him feel good. And when it ended, he started talking about these things. And the young lady he had the surgery with, she had to come back for post-observation. And he said, how you doing? She said, fine. He said, well, show me the smile. And she gave like that, you know how people get like that half a smile. He said, no, show me that big smile, that megawatt smile. So she smiled for him really big. And he said, how's your hearing? She says, it's great. Everything is fine. He said, by looking at all your charts and everything, you're doing exceptionally well. And I'm here to let you know that everything is clean on our end. As long as you feel good on your end, then we're happy. And she said, thank you. And he was getting ready to leave, right? It's almost like in a movie in a sense. You know how they write things, they write them in a movie sense. She got ready to leave, and she said, I want to ask you two questions. Well, I want to ask you a question. He said, how do you think it occurred? And he thought for a moment. He said, well, normally in cases like this is when you use your cell phone too much. He said that people don't understand that there's radiation coming from that phone, and when you keep it to your ear for 10 to 20 years, and that radiation is going through your brain and coming through your face, it has a tendency to do that. And then he was saying outside of that he recommended that you don't put the cell phone to your ears much. If you do, you need to get you an earpiece, preferably one with a wire, because even the ones that doesn't have that are wireless can impact your hearing as well. Now, I didn't really know that much. So even reading that, I learned something about how to stay healthy when it comes to doing that. And then she said, I just want to tell you something. she said, I just want to say thank you. Because you took the time out to listen to me. You took the time out to explain things to me. And for that, I'm deeply grateful. And then she gave him a hug, right? And when he walked out, you know, you could hear him say, man, he said, see, that's what it's all about. When someone can come to you and say those things to you, to appreciate what you've done. Even though you know, like, it might be routine for you, but that person that you just took care of, they didn't know that it was routine. And he saved everything. He saved her professional career by taking care of her in the way that she wanted to be taken care of. She wanted exceptional care. She got exceptional care. And he said to do that is to brighten up his whole day. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to share those. I just wanted to share that book. And usually I don't really talk about books that I like to share, but when I read about this young man, his journey to become a neurosurgeon, and then to become the best neurosurgeon in the world, and to develop things that the neurologically community has never had, is truly amazing. And Antonio T. Smith always says this, and I always come back to my man, whenever he talks to you, and even when he talks to you in a group or if he talks to you as a person, he always say that in order to add value, you have to give people something. Like, if it's an online course, if it's a book, if it's a product, you got to be able to introduce something to the world that they had never seen before. And had not this man pursued his dream, and had not his father been able and his mother been able to open that door to let him explore what it took to become the person that he is, we probably wouldn't have a Dr. Black, MD. And we probably wouldn't have had this book called Brain Surgeon. But he did what he did, and he wrote a book about it, and the book is amazing. And the life nuggets in that is that you gotta treat people the way you want to be treated. And Napoleon Hill called it the golden rule. And I just want you guys to just think about loving yourself. And whatever that dream is that you have, or that goal is that you expect to achieve in your lifetime, just make sure that you work on it. Make sure you stay focused on it. Even though you might have a worthy opponent, you yourself have to keep going. You yourself must be the believer when other people doubt. And then when you deal with somebody that may be the gatekeeper to what you want, you got to make sure you come to them prepared. You can't go to a gatekeeper ill-prepared. You will instantly get turned around, and you're going to think it's the gatekeeper's fault. But it's not the gatekeeper's fault. If they're there to be your adversary, if they're there to say, if you want to get past me, then you got to be able to answer A, B, C, and D. If you can't answer that, then you cannot proceed into a world of opportunity, and the world of opportunity that you want. Mr. Black will prepare for everything. He has seen everything. He has done every kind of surgery. And I'm grateful that he managed to put this book out here for me to read. I think when you have someone that is giving you that opportunity to see how they change lives, then you yourself ought to be one that want to change lives. If you're able to do that, then you can see that the value in a human being, man, is the most important thing. It's the most important thing on the planet, to value the life of another person. And if you value your life, if you really sit down and do some introspection and you value your life, then you would know that if you make somebody laugh, or you can make somebody think differently, and it's on a spiritual level, then you know that you are impacting this world, and you're going to leave an amazing change. And in Dr. Black's case, not only was he able to help people physically, they helped him spiritually. And he helped the world by coming up with all these new inventions in that field. And had he not been here, we wouldn't have that. And I just want to say, when you send out a post on Instagram, or when you do a Facebook Live, or when you do a video, or you do a conference, or you do something that you feel that's going to be impactful to someone, if you don't believe it, don't do it. Because sooner or later those things catches up with you. And remember, there's always a gatekeeper. And there are people that vibrate on a level to know that you're not sincere. So get sincerity in what you're doing. And even if you don't have anybody listening to you, that's okay too. Because what you're changing is that you're trying to change your vibration as well. Tony Robbins said, if you can ask a quality question, you're going to get a quality answer. You're going to get a worthy opponent. And you got to keep asking questions that's going to take you out of the physical. You got to ask a question that's going to put you in the mental. Then you got to ask a question that's going to put you in the spiritual. And if you're doing these things, ladies and gentlemen, each and every day, when you wake up, when you arise from your bed, you can value your significant other. You can value your children. You can value the people at work. You can value the job that you have. You can value the opportunities that lie before you. You're able to value things even more. And even if it's not going your way right away, you still got to vibrate on that level of saying, this can't last always. You got to vibrate on this level that my fellow human beings, there's somebody out there, it might be my gatekeeper, that is waiting for me to arrive at that gate so I can give them my answers, so I can proceed forward with my dream. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank you guys for dropping by. I want to thank you guys for listening to me talk about Dr. Black. Dr. Black is an amazing man. And I had the book on my shelf for a couple of, I want to say about a year or two, right? And I read a lot too, just in case you want to know that. But the book was there, and I was off work, and I just decided to pull it out. Took that introduction, ladies and gentlemen, and the rest of it is history. It's like 222 pages long. I could have read it in one day. But you know what I said? I said, if there's anybody that want to listen to this video or see me go live, I said, this is the young man I would like to talk about. Now, I talk about Dr. Hill a lot, ladies and gentlemen, Think and Grow Rich, don't get me wrong. But this Dr. Black is an amazing man. Really and truly a blessing for this planet. A man that goes inside of someone's brain, removes tumors, and leaves minimal damage so that they can live a quality life. You can't beat that with nothing else that you have on the planet. And he said, and I quote, he said, the brain is the most amazing creation in the world. He said that is God's playfield. That thing is so beautiful and so delicate that one wrong move, you can damage a person's entire life. But he goes in like an angel with steady hands to remove things that were created by man so that that person can live a great life. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you have time, like it, share it. I hope that I added some value to your life today. And I know we're going through a lot right now. But my thing is, I just need you to reflect on who you are, what quality of being you are, and vibrate on that level of knowing that it might be rough now, but it'll always get better the next day. And if you make it through this day, be thankful for the day. And if you rise tomorrow, be thankful for that too, and proceed to your destiny, and always have respect for your fellow human beings. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.